Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Dragon Ball Z Geek Goes. Yes, welcome to the Geek Coast channel. I am your host, the Wizard and Demigod David, and I hope you're all doing fantastic wherever you are in this universe. So, we're going to change this up a bit. I know you guys like listening to me talking about, reviews of TV shows that I've seen. That's been the past 5 episodes so far. And yeah, we're going to change it up because, I like sharing my thoughts and feelings on these TV shows that I've watched and what I like, what I dislike, but can get boring, can get tedious, and let's change it up and have a little bit of fun this time. So maybe this is something that I'll come back to doing it again and stuff. So if you have not seen the last episode, where at the end I kind of already said what I'm doing, and I might as well just say it anyways. This is going to be my top 5 favorite starships from sci-fi. And this can range from anime, books, cartoons, TV shows, movies. The possibilities are endless. But but those who really do know me probably already have a guess which ships are going to be in my top 5. But I may surprise you. They could be, somewhere else in the top 5, and you'd be like, "Oh wow, that is surprising," because my views or my favorite ships do change over the years and stuff, and also how I like ships nowadays is also has changed also. So anywho, here are some of the rules I'm going to do. Basically, does it have a cool factor? Does it look awesome? Is it practical within universe? Also, does it have that home feel that it's not just a ship, it's actually the crew's home? And also, is the ship is her own character in the show? Not just, here is the blah blah blah, and that's where they go to the next blah 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 place, and the ship is parked, and they leave, and then they don't come back until later. So, basically, in itself, like, if the ship is like its own character, I think it will work out pretty well. Anywho, let's get this started. So, at number 5 is a weird little place. And I say that because it's from, the same movie, TV show / universe, but at the same time, they are also shared the same name, but are definitely different classes. So, at number 5, we have the Starship USS Enterprise, the refit Constitution class from the motion picture era, and also tied with it is the NX Enterprise from the TV show Star Trek Enterprise. And yeah, I know it's weird that you have 2 ships with the same name on there, but to me, they're both definitely fitting to be in the top 5. I just feel like, they're tied to each other because obviously they have the same name and also it's the same universe. And let's, not try, put the same ship from the same universe in different spots. So that's why it's like that. So anywho, we'll start with the NX one because it is a older model than the refit Constitution class. So the NX Enterprise is from, like I said, the Star Trek Enterprise show. And yeah, it's just basically the base model of like what future ship designs the Federation will have in the Star Trek universe. So it's kind of cool to see like, hey, this is where it all begins right here. And I will tell you this, it did not really hit me in all those categories up until the later show or the later seasons, where it's the Zindi story arc, where they actually have to go on a deep mission to find the Zindi, which is like an alliance of different aliens who are bent on destroying all of humanity and everything. So within that story arc, they finally put it where the ship is her own character. It's also the crew, that's her home. They will defend her home with their lives, and also to make sure that the ship survives to come back home. So it's kind of like in their own little odyssey. So it was kind of cool. It was really awesome. And the few times where you do see the ship get heavily damaged, or it's almost destroyed, or in some cases in some of the episodes does get destroyed, it kind of was like, wow, my heart kind of broke, and it's kind of sad seeing that ship taking a beating and her crew just desperately trying to save their home. So it's definitely pretty cool. And also there are some moments in the mess hall where the crew's together eating, chatting, and talking. So moments like that does help make this ship feel like this is home, and it's kind of cool. So now we're on to the USS Enterprise refit Constitution class for the motion picture. So this ship was in, I think, at least I know three of them, which is the original, and then later on it does come back, same class, but gave it a new name, which is A, since they got to keep the name Enterprise going. And I do love, I think it was in the Star Trek Next Generation where Scotty came back and was going to the holodeck, and he's like, "I want the bridge of the Starship Enterprise," and the computer was like, "Well, which one?" And he's like, "No bloody A, no bloody B, no bloody C, no bloody D, just the original." So the original itself, which the Constitution class in the original series was a cool design, but the refit version of it has that cool vibe. It looked awesome. It looked pretty. It was by far one of the most prettiest ships I've seen at that point. And she is a gorgeous ship, and also she does have that character vibe too, especially in Wrath of Khan and Search of Spock, where Kirk basically wants to keep that ship alive as long as possible and command her, because that's his home. That's where he lives and stuff like that. Especially in, I think it more emphasized in that in, I think it was like Star Trek Generation, where he does meet Jean-Luc Picard and tells Picard that, hey, don't you ever leave that ship. Don't you ever leave that chair. That ship will be your home. And it makes you feel like the Enterprise is their own character, which I believe one of the show's creators, can't remember which one, said in the description that the Starship Enterprise is the main character. She is a character in the show. And you also felt that too in Search of Spock, where Kirk had to basically self-detonate it in order to, try to help save his son, and also Spock, who has somehow come back to life with no soul, and we have to bring him back to Vulcan so he can have a soul. So that's a weird thing. But hey, it works out, I guess. But yeah, seeing the ship blow up and die, and then seeing the remains just crash on the planet Genesis, and you just hear Kirk says, "What have I done?" Like, it felt like a character just died, like his best friend just died, the love of his life just died. So it definitely gave you that, moment where seeing a ship like that gets destroyed and it's now gone, and you have this, wave of sadness that's it, she's gone. Anywho, let's continue on at number 4. Number 4 is from one of my favorite animes of all time, Cowboy Bebop, and the ship at her name, the Bebop. So yeah, this ship is actually kind of cool. I like the design of the ship. It's basically like a boat-ish design, where even if it lands in water, it can actually float in water like a ship. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, and it has also that home vibe where it has a living room where the crew gets together and looks, see what bounties they have to find, or where they eat together and stuff like that. The bridge design's also kind of cool too. It does have a docking area where their smaller ships are basically stash, and then they can leave. And yeah, the Bebop is a cool little ship. There's definitely a couple episodes where you see the crew finding some kind of like alien monster thing from the fridge that's poisoning everybody, and the crew itself is just trying to fight it and kill it. And also moments in the one of the final episodes where they're fighting the Syndicate, and the Bebop itself is taking hits and has to make a crash landing, and you just see Jet that's just trying to desperately save her to bring her back into the sky and space. So it definitely has that character vibe, character feel in it too, and especially that home vibe that I have said before, which is basically going to be the theme of this episode. It's basically the home vibe. So the Bebop is a cool ship. I love it. Very practical ship. Also, I like how it's not a new ship. It's actually old, as it's scars and scratches. Basically shows her character. So let's move on to number 3. Number 3, which I think is going to be a shock to a lot of people on this, and that is the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. So the Millennium Falcon is a cool ship. It has also the same vibe as the Bebop, where it's not the newest ship, no new technology or nothing, but has their scratches and scars. She has her own little character, but never had that home vibe feel, at least not in the movies. But not up until one of the book series I was reading, which is unfortunately it's not canon. It's in the Legend thing, which I wish Disney didn't do that, but that's another discussion and topic another time, maybe with some friends. But yeah, and in this is like years after the Return of the Jedi and stuff like this. So Han and Leia are in their ship. They're in the Millennium Falcon. They're being chased by a Star Destroyer, not by the Empire this time. I think this is the Galactic Alliance, which I think the New Republic is gone and is replaced by the Galactic Alliance. Anywho, and there will be a little bit of confusion of how I'm going to explain this, but don't you worry, I'm here, and we will get this through. So, they are being chased by their eldest son, Jason Solo, who has fallen to the dark side and is basically being like, his grandfather, Darth Vader. And he's the one commanding the Star Destroyer that's chasing them and basically is trying to take them out. On board the Millennium Falcon, like I said, you got Han and Leia co-piloting. They have two companion characters that are in the turrets, desperately trying to fight off the fighters from the Star Destroyer. And then also you got other characters, such as their daughter, Janice Solo, and then also Ben Skywalker. Yes, Skywalker, not Solo, Skywalker, which is obviously Luke's son. So they're trying to desperately save the ship. It's getting hit by the turbo lasers, getting damaged by the fighters. They're doing everything they can to save her up until the moment where they get hit by a turbo laser right through the middle of the ship, where both of their commanding characters are now dead and gone. Pretty much vaporized. The ship's on its last leg, and Han and Leia were like telling the kids, like, get into the escape pods. You'll be picked up. We're not leaving. We're gonna try to get this ship out of here into hyperspace. And that moment right there hit me a lot, especially in Han's point of view, because Han loves that ship to death. That is his baby. That is his child, and right there, him trying to talking to the ship, be like, come on, baby, you can do this. And fixing it, trying to get the hyperdrive. Leia desperately flying the ship, trying to make sure she stay afloat. And then finally, in that last second, they finally fix the hyperdrive and they're gone. And they have that wave of relief that they saved their home. So that was, to me, that moment where the Millennium Falcon felt like that home vibe, and it's really cool. So definitely changed my perspective of the Millennium Falcon when I read that particular chapter in that Star Wars book series. I can't remember what the series is named, but yeah, it's a pretty cool series. So anywho, we are now heading to number 2. So number 2 is from the ever so canceled so early show Firefly, and of course the ship herself, Serenity. So I love the design of Serenity. It has that Firefly built of it. Basically, rims as a Firefly, and the ship itself is, like I said, nothing new technology. It's again kind of like the Millennium Falcon and the Bebop. It's an older model, has her scratches, has her dues, but that's her character. And the ship also has that home vibe. Like it has like a mess hall that's basically a family dinner table and a gathering area. Even the transport hub, or the where they load their cargo, is actually kind of cool too. And the characters even treat the ship like her own character, their own home, especially Malcolm Reynolds and Wash, where you can feel the love they have for the ship, especially when Wash pilots it too. It's actually kind of cool. And yeah, it's actually awesome. I believe one of the episodes, a flashback episode of how Malcolm Reynolds met Serenity and where he fell in love and stuff like that. So it was, like I said, Serenity is a cool ship. Love the show too. Check that show out if you guys ever did. And now we're going to move on to number 1. So if you watched the last episode of my show, you will know what number 1 is. And yeah, it's the Rocinante from The Expanse. And the reason being, I just love the Rocinante. That ship is really cool. It's by far my favorite sci-fi ship of all time. Like, everything about that ship is cool. I love the design, love the practicality of it. The interior designs are really cool. How the ship is built, which is kind of like built like a skyscraper, where each of the floors is basically, you got your engine, your machine shop, crew quarters / mess hall, the CIC, and then the pilot. And the weapons themselves are kind of like the F-22 Raptor, where they just pop out from the ship, and it's pretty cool. Also, it does get a couple upgrades here and there and stuff like that. And the ship, it does start out a bit newer, But as the show progresses, you can see, even with some upgrades, the ship is getting older and stuff like that. And also, the ship herself is her own character of the show. Even like the pilot Alex has talked to the ship a couple times, both book and in show. And also Naomi too did the same thing too in one of the earlier episodes where she was like, "All right, show me what you got," and the ship actually shows her what she got, like tech wise. And Amos also puts his love and effort into that ship too. So the Expanse is, or I mean, the Rocinante is an awesome ship. I love the ship. In the book series, when the ship is finally, heading off to pastures, and reading it that it's finally gone, I felt a wave of sadness, cried even a bit, possibly. Made me a little manly. Manly wizard gods don't cry. I mean, no, I did shed a couple tears, but yeah, no, that ship is, I love that ship a lot. It's one of my favorite ships, if not now my favorite ship of all time. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I would like to see you guys in the comic sections to put down your top 5 favorite ships, or maybe what is your favorite ship from sci-fi. And you can put a reason why, or don't have to put a reason why. You can use my rules too, or you can use your own rules. Whatever works. Just, be civil, guys. Don't be a bully. Or don't be too disagreeing on why this ship is better than that. Just, compare, contrast, and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool and stuff like that. And also, give this a share. Give it a like. Also, subscribe if you have not. And yeah, once you give the share, ask these people these questions like, what's your favorite ship of all time from sci-fi and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this little change of pace. Maybe I'll do another top 5, maybe a top 10 if I can think on a bigger reference of stuff in the list. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, my friends, stay geeky.